Under the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First ride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, we're a united band.
All right, welcome to the Northeast Florida edition of the Blitz. Josh Wilson here along with Christopher Like here as we come to you live here for week number 2 of the 2025 high school football season. It is rocking and rolling already here across Northeast Florida, the Jacksonville area. First Coast. Chris, how you doing, my man? Your mic.
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right here as we roll along here, and we're glad that everybody that's watching here, we're seeing everybody starting to hop on, and glad you're with us here as we take a look at everything that has happened in Northeast Florida here across the landscape, and no lack of in terms of games from last week where there was some interesting results that came out of this, and let's get right into it here as we roll into the Blitz Lines here. And taking a look back here, Chris, some games that we covered on our Pick 6 last week here, and that included Providence at Frostproof, Yulee at Union County, Mandarin at Creekside, Oakleaf and Riverside, Newberry at University Christian, and, of course, Ed White, Trinity Christian. Those were the games that we focused on last week. And, boy, Oakleaf at Riverside, that was a huge dandy right there. Jordan Price, how about that? 2 interceptions, a 75-yard punt and return touchdown. And before you know it, back and forth game ends up in the favor of the Oakleaf Knights, going 1-0, and in that game right there, Oakleaf a 23-14 winner over the Riverside Generals there, and a good battle there at the backyard.
Yeah, Oakleaf is up on the rise, and I think they should be a very tough team to beat in the next few weeks.
No, absolutely. By the way, our interview tonight will be head coach Kevin Doelling of Tocoi Creek about another team that is up and coming on the rise here. And last week, by the way, how about this? Tocoi Creek pitches shutout to give Coach Doelling his first win as the Toros head coach, 24-0. So congratulations there to Coach. Getting that first victory as the head coach. Coach from his days as the head coach at PK Young. So glad to see him back in the coaching ranks there. And from a few people I know over there in the Tocoi Creek, which, by the way, Tocoi Creek, if you don't know where that is at, it's the address is St. Augustine, but it's more actually where Silverleaf and World Golf Village. It's right there at State Road 16 International Golf Parkway. So a school that has came online, I want to say it was 2018, 2019, was somewhere right around that number. Anyways, it is massively, the area has grown so much. I don't even recognize it anymore from my days of being over at Flagler College. So talk about time changing there, Chris. It's definitely changed there, but we'll have Tocoi Creek's head coach on here in just a few minutes here for the interview. So looking at some of the other games here, Providence at Frostproof. Frostproof wins 17-14 in that game. So Frostproof had a close battle with the Stallions from Jacksonville.
Yeah, Frostproof getting the win, and like they should.
Yeah,
I mean, what can you say? That very close game. As long as you win, long as you scored more than the other team.
Of course, Frostproof, the defending SSA Atlantic state champs. How about this? Yulee was a big, massive underdog, and they won 21-6 over Union County. That was not what I was expecting there, but Union County suffered their loss right there, and Yulee gets out of there with a 21-6 win. And how about this? Jaden Timmon, 150 yards and a touchdown for the Hornets. So, that was kind of surprising there. But how about this one that was even more surprising to me, Chris, is Newberry at University Christian. That game the forecast was favored for Newberry to win. University Christian just rocks Newberry right back down 301 to Alachua County, and University Christian wins 47-14. Holy cow! And Newberry's got some problems, and but we'll talk more about that in the North Central Florida Blitz. Oof. But University Christian, hats off to David Penland Third's group there.
Yeah, that surprised the crap out of me too, and I did not see that coming.
No, and as we look at everything here, I mean, that really was just really one of those games where it was just for a team that went three deep into the playoffs, and for Newberry, this was not the way you wanted to start the season there, and Newberry just really kind of just took it. But again, we'll talk more about Newberry in North Central Florida, and then of course looking at a couple other games, Mandarin at Creekside. Creekside gave everything battle, but Mandarin pulls away on that one in that particular game, a 42-20 win for the Mustangs. And Mandarin, a lot of people talking about Mandarin and everything. Wait a second. Hold on. Mark Hannon says Newberry should never punt again. Oh, boy. We'll have to talk about that in the North Central Florida Blitz, Mark. But looking at this, again, Mandarin, Creekside gives battle, but Mandarin wins that one. And, of course, Ed White. How about Ed White getting a big, huge win, 45-28 over Trinity Christian? And this school's not too far away in location, but Ed White just totally gave the Trinity Christian everything and then some. And, of course, here we go. Ed White is now 1-0 on the season. And that was a game that the forecast was not in favor of Ed White either.
Yeah, and obviously, I think we all picked Trinity Christian. But
yeah, no, we all picked. Yeah. Looking at back at my notes right here, sitting here, we all took TCA. So yeah, as Mark Cannon says, it looked like Ed White ran the ball a lot, and I can confirm. Yes, that looking at some of the stuff here, looking at this, that would confirm it here in the on the stat sheet. Now Trinity Christian still had an impressive night. Terrell Dallas who threw for 299 yards. So it wasn't that Trinity Christian didn't slouch at all. It was just that Ed White just came in and they had more in the tank there, and that sometimes is what happens again, having more in the tank than not. And that was payback, by the way, who that Ed White lost that game last year 21-18. So yeah, that's a huge win there for Ed White and the Commanders. Looking at some of the other scores that I kind of noticed, how about Middleburg hanging 58 on West Side? That one I didn't see coming either. 58. I thought it was going to be more like a 35-7 game, but no, Middleburg puts up 58 points, and that's based upon I was talking to athletic director Jay Stillano at Middleburg via text message, and I told him was like that's like the most amount of points Middleburg has put up in like 20 plus years. So.
Yeah, when I saw that score, I had to do a double take. I was like, Middleburg shut somebody out?
No, but it wasn't a complete shutout. But I mean, 58-14. But I mean, shoot, they were just rocking and rolling there, and a couple other side. Just some of the games here. Just looking at it, it's just that one just kind of stuck out to me there. But Baldwin, I know, put up a win as well. I just it really at the end of the day, there were some good games in the area. Bartram Trail ended up suffering a 27-17 loss to Sumner, so that road trip down to Tampa didn't. But how about Atlantic Coast? I got to give props to Atlantic Coast there, 41-18 over Terry Parker. Terry Parker had a lead in that game, and then I got to tell you, how about that? Atlantic Coast come back and just totally dominated, and got to give hats off there to Steph Durham's Atlantic Coast Stingrays there, and of course they got Mandarin this week, which that should be an interesting game because that's been building up a little bit of a rivalry, but not in the same district now, but still they put each other on the schedule for a good reason.
Yeah, Mandarin, they're expected to be there, and I think they should be a state title contender real quickly.
And I got another one here because I'm glad to see Eric Gibson pop up in the chat here from Interlochen. How about those Interlochen Rams? I got to say, the forecast had Interlochen as a 5-point favorite, and they won. It was like, I want to believe it was 35-0. I want to say was the final score. Yeah, 36-0. I should say 36-0 for Interlochen. That was a huge win right there. I got to give Interlochen mad props there. That was huge. When some forecasts were giving Keystone Heights the win right there, that's a huge rivalry run right there in week one for Interlochen. So some good football talk here, some good games to start off week one. And of course, again, I mentioned earlier as we came on, Tocoi Creek 24-0 over First Coast, giving Kevin Doelling his first win as the Toros head coach at Tocoi Creek. And we're going to have him on here in just a moment after we get – wait a second. That's that is mad prop here. So we're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout here. And we're going to have head coach Kevin Doelling on from the Tocoi Creek Toros here after the break. We'll be right back here on the Blitz, the Northeast Florida edition, right here on FortHSFootball.com and the FortHSFootball.com social media networks.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Touchdown! Juggled and caught!
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, there's a great chance that I can do it. First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
All right, welcome back here to the Blitz Northeast Florida edition here on FortHSFootball.com, the FortHSFootball.com social media networks, and it's my honor to welcome this impressive coach that I got to know first when he was at PK Young DRS in Gainesville, where my stomping grounds are at these days. That is head coach Kevin Doelling of the Tocoi Creek Toros joining us here. Appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule, Coach, to be able to talk with us with Toro football. And Coach, congratulations on win number 1 as the Toros head man. I know that usually getting that first win any program is usually the huge sigh of relief, and you did that 24-0 over first. Coach, talk about that, getting this team ready. I know you were part of the staff before that as assistant coach, so just talk about that transition role going from assistant to head coach again, and being able to get ready to get the guys ready to be to get that victory last week. Oh, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted or if you're on your microphone or if you got your Coach. It's not connected. Coach, call my cell phone. If you got my cell phone number, I'll send it to you. That way you can call me. I can bring you in through audio. Leave the video up and we'll do that. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to send you the cell phone number. Give me a call and I'll be able to patch you through on my mixer board here, because we had this happen last night with a couple. Maybe there we go. There we go. All right, we got it. All right, Coach. Yeah, just go ahead and answer that question I put out there for you.
Sorry about that, buddy. So, it's actually been a pretty seamless transition, in my opinion. The guys had a general idea of how I handle my business for the last 2 years. Obviously, being the OC and the quarterback coach, I was only talking to about half the team, but they had a general idea of how we were going to do things when we got to spring, fall, and this group of guys that we have has rejuvenated me as a coach. They are without ego. They are hardworking. They want to be held accountable for their actions, whether good or bad. And guys like that are super easy to coach. They're super talented too, which makes it even more fun. So having the game play out the way it did, it was probably my fault that it wasn't a better win, because I don't think I was great. I think I was the only one who wasn't phenomenal on Friday. Defense was lights out. Our quarterback played as good as he possibly can, and we had some big plays from some big-time football players. So I'm going to have to be better if we're going to be as good as we want to be.
No, absolutely, and I gotta say this, Coach. It's you had a winning program at PK Young when you coached. Talk about the lessons you learned from when you were at PK Young to now. And of course you said it's making you a better coach and along the way, and it rejuvenated you. So talk about all that, the history that you've got here.
Yeah, PK Young was a phenomenal time for me. I was blessed with some very, very good football players, and I don't think I had to be as good of a coach back then. Now I've learned a little bit more about football. I've learned a little bit more about being a head coach and managing the whole entirety of the football program. And I'm still learning. I'm in my 30s, early 30s, and I hopefully have a lot more years to go until I'm done with this job. So, but again, the last 2 years here at Tocoi have taught me more than anything. I needed to step down from a head coaching job. I think at the end of that PK stint, I was not mentally in a position where I could be a leader of young men at that time. And I kind of was able to reset and find the right time. And it all happened perfectly. The former head coach is still one of my best friends. He's back up in Michigan and he's doing great, but it just happened to play out as good as it could. I needed to reset. I got a little time to do that. And the group of guys that we have here at Tocoi Creek are phenomenal. And it's made my transition to being the head man as easy as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Chris has got a question here.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, you're coming in right at the right time. You got a strong underclassmen group there. A lot of juniors on your roster.
Yes, sir.
Talk about those juniors and how they contribute to this team so far this season.
Man, I might one up you here. We started 4 sophomores and offense and defense. So not only the junior class is competing at a high level, but our sophomore class is even, you would never expect at a 6A or any school above, 2,000 kids to be starting that many sophomores. We have a starting center who's a sophomore, running back, tight end. You look at the defensive side of the ball, we're starting 2 defensive ends who are sophomores. We are a youthful program, and they want to be good football players. They're high IQ type kids. again, and you want to talk about the juniors, we are really lucky to be in the position that we're in. I'm thankful for a couple of the seniors that came back to football this year because we needed a touch of maturity and veteranism. But the youth is definitely the backbone of what we have going right now. And you look at the future for this football program, I am extremely excited. I'm extremely hopeful. And I know if we continue to do the things that we're doing, we're going to be in a really good spot these next couple of years.
No, absolutely.
Well, you mentioned that your junior top class. There's another program out there in West Boca. Have you had a chance to follow up what they've been doing and how you modeled your football team after that program?
I'm not sure which football program you're talking about. I'll be honest with you. But every program is different at the end of the day, the ins and outs and how it plays out in the school and how it plays out on the football field. There's always going to be some intricacies that are just very specific to that school. And it's tough. I don't know if there is a way of modeling any other school because we just had our first graduating class that had been here for 4 years. We're a brand new school and we're still learning enough about us to a point where it's hard to even think about another program.
No, absolutely. I mean, but Coach, let's talk about that because you said you had a couple of seniors come back, and obviously that Lucas Whitworth obviously is one of those seniors right there, your quarterback. I mean, he was 8-12, 156 passing, 3 touchdowns Friday night. I mean, again, if you couldn't ask for a better senior leader, it's we started at the quarterback spot right there. I mean, that's how you can do it.
He's been phenomenal all spring, summer, fall. He is a hardworking kid. He is an extremely talented kid, and honestly, he probably one of my bigger regrets is not getting him more experience last year. He was I love the fact that he's selfless. He was willing to step down and play some JV football just to get more experience last year for us. And again, yeah, he's the quarterback that I couldn't be luckier to step in as my first year as a head coach and have him being the guy at the helm for us.
And then, Coach, this you mentioned it this a couple minutes ago, but you talk about it. Okay, back in the day when you're at PK Young, PK Young 1A football. You talk about small school football. Here you are. You're at a 6A program that could potentially be a 7A program next year, depending on where what the enrollment projections come out for reclassification later in the fall. What is the biggest difference you see in that in terms of, again, leading these group of men, that are going to, go up to, a lot of them are going to go up to the next level and play, but, where you've got more guys, you've got more, kids in the building, it's a huge, vast difference.
Yeah. When I was at PK Young, I remember, especially that last year I was there where I was looking the halls for anybody who looked like they could put on a helmet and some shoulder pads. I was, we were limited on bodies and hopeful to find. I was dragging baseball players out, begging the baseball coach, "Hey, please let me take your best 3 athletes and let me put a helmet on them." Now at Tocoi, I have the number right now is 154 kids in the whole program between the 3. We do a freshman, JV, and varsity, and we are definitely not limited on bodies. So it's definitely different. No, not many two-way guys for us now, which, we are all Ironmen at PK. So it's definitely a very different experience and a different we have a different ability to practice and a different approach to how we do things here. But again, it's at the end of the day, it's all about the relationships with the kids and getting the best out of them. And I think that's more of my strength anyways as a coach. I'm in my opinion, I'm just okay with X's and O's, but it's is getting the kids to buy in and buying into how we see it done the right way is what we're doing best right now.
No, absolutely, Coach. And I'm gonna full disclosure here. One of your athletes that's on your roster, Christian Petowski, I know his mother.
Okay.
Yes. How about that? I'm kind of revealing. So if Christian's watching, I think Mama has told you that there's the connection here.
He's watching. I'm sure.
We went to high school together, him and his mom. So for me and my mom, his mom, we went to high school together. So yes, we went to high school together. So that. I told her, hey, we're doing this. We're doing this interview tonight. I sent the link, so hey, share it around. And by the way, everybody hit that YouTube, hit the subscribe button on at Florida HS Football. We definitely appreciate that. So, but yeah, Coach, it's impressive. Like you said, not many two-way guys. Your roster's loaded. I'm looking at this roster. You got it. This is for a 6A school. A roster should look like what you've got right now.
Yeah, and you talk about another sophomore who's extremely talented. Christian Petrowski is a sophomore starting at the highest level, in my opinion, and there's teams who are seeing him and putting 2 over him right now. He is a phenomenal talent, and he's only going to get better.
He got him for 2 more years after this. So there you go.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, at the end of the day, Coach, I mean, just to, look at it, the growth in the area. Okay. Not just the World Golf Village, but Silverleaf and all that area. This is really it's been growing. I mean, just talk about the growth, just being, the fact that y'all are going to be able to, have kids coming in throughout because people are moving into St. Johns County like no tomorrow.
Yeah, it's wild just to see, Beachside as well being a year behind us. And then I know there's plans for another high school to be in the area. We're already this year, I think we're the biggest school in St. Johns County already. So yeah, we are expecting to move up in classification next year. That's kind of the expectation. I don't see us getting any smaller anytime soon. This is a beautiful place to live. It was everything I needed it to be, especially getting a change of scenery from Gainesville. I love Florida, love UF, but at some point you got to get out of a college town and go be an adult. And this is exactly where I wanted to do it.
Oh, absolutely. I get it. I mean, I live here in Gainesville for many different reasons, but I'll tell you, it's St. Augustine. If there's any other place I would love to live back again, it'd be St. Augustine. So, I mean, that's my stomping grounds there with Flagler College. But Coach, I mean, Chris, you got anything else to ask Coach real quick as we wrap this up here?
Oh yeah. You're in a district with Bartram Trail, Nice, and Buchholz. Did you talk about that lineup of team in district play? What's the challenge with that schedule?
Oh man, that's what I call death row right there. You're talking about you got two of those teams are top 25 overall in the state, and then you talk about the team that's outside of that, and they are a well-coached, extremely talented football team with skill players that are just explosive as possible. So it is definitely. I'm already getting some headaches about it looking forward. I try my best not to think about it because my hair's falling out rather quick looking at that few Holtz in the Nice game. But again, you even talk about the teams just in the area. Again, we got Oakleaf on the schedule. We got Beachside. Again, we got Bartram on schedule. We play Bishop Kenny week 3, and that's not even a highly talked about team, but they're extremely well coached and extremely talented as well. So it's this schedule. What Coach Harbison left me for this is not ideal, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna battle our butts off every week.
No, absolutely. Considering especially with Buchholz, you know what Mark Whittemore can do.
Yep. I've been watching that at PK for a long time, so I'm aware. And I was there last year when I watched Justin Williams put up a state record 7 touchdowns on us. So he's still there.
Hopefully this year it's a much closer result, maybe even a win for y'all. So, but Coach, I definitely appreciate you taking the time. It's exciting to see what you're doing there at Tocoi Creek. Glad you're back in the ranks of the head coaching ranks, and we'll look forward to seeing what the Toros do for the remainder of the 2025 season.
I do appreciate you having me, fellas. Y'all have a good night.
All right, appreciate it. That was head coach Kevin Doelling joining us from Tocoi Creek. The Tocoi Creek Toros, again, off to a 1-0 start for the 2025 season. But boy, Chris, that was a good question right there at the end. That district schedule is a gauntlet. I mean, when you talk about it, but there's also a chance, hey, if all 4 of those teams do really well this year, you're going to be looking at a situation where those 4 teams could be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think all 4 teams can make the playoffs. And Tocoi Creek, they're a team on the rise, and I think that Coach Doelling got that team going in the right direction.
No, absolutely. I appreciate it. By the way, I just had to bring that up because I know Christian's mom was probably going to be watching this as well. So, and I finally, got to break the ice there in some ways on that. So, but it's good to see people I know. Their kids are growing up now, and they're playing high school football, and it's a good chance to get them some coverage and some love. And he's right. Christian is going to be one of those up-and-coming players that we're going to be keeping an eye on here over the next couple of years. He's definitely got a skill set that's going to get eyes, I think, on a lot of Division I FBS programs. So, all right, we got to take a quick break here. We also got we're breaking up here. We got to roll through this quickly here, but we're gonna have a quick message from our friends with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Jaguars Prep. We'll talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars Player of the Week with the Whataburger Player of the Week. How y'all can submit nominations, coaches and parents. You can tell your coaches about this, but we'll be right back right after this here on the Northeast Florida edition of the Blitz.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught!
All right, welcome back here to the Northeast Florida edition of the Blitz here. I'm Josh Wilson. That's Christopher Light there. And as we've roll along and finish wrapping up this show here, we still have the pick six to come. But first, how you can nominate your players, especially if you're a coach. If you're not a coach, but your parent, tell your coach about this. That is the Whataburger Player of the Week. I'll bring this up here on the screen. Player nominations can be submitted during each week of the regular season for Whataburger Player of the Week, presented by the Jacksonville Jaguars, Jaguars Prep, and FloydHSFootball.com, along with Whataburger. Nominations must be submitted by Sunday at midnight Eastern each week, and using the job form. The job form link goes out to coaches each and every week through an email blast. We will also post that on X and our other social media handles, including Facebook and Instagram. And as anything that was here, eligible counties include Baker, Bradford, Clay, Columbia, Duval, Nassau, Putnam, St. John's, and Union, and Fulton. And of course, anybody from Georgia watching on the other side of the state line, Camden and Glenn as well. Again, Whataburger Player of the Week. We will have the week one. We will reveal the week one player. We will show that information to you next week because the Jaguars will post that come tomorrow on the Jaguar social media handles, and we will share that. We will give full recognition to the week one player of the week, and we'll do that every week during the season as well. And we're getting ready here to go into our pick six here, Chris. And of course, coming up, we'll have John Brantley III for the North Central Florida Blitz. But we got. If anybody knows what time it is, that music means it's time for pick six, and that should say week two. Why did I say but not change that to week two on the thing? It's week two. It's not week one. Don't let your eyes deceive you. Let me just go ahead and get that off the screen. Our first game up is Atlantic Coast at Mandarin here on the picks, Chris. And we talked about this here in the early on. You know what happened last week. You know, Mandarin and Creekside, but Atlantic Coast got a big win last week as well. So. This game could be really interesting, but part of me feels like Mandarin can pull away as well on this one.
Yeah, I think Mandarin's just a much better program, but shout out to Atlantic Coast. They get that win in week one, but I think Mandarin's just too good.
Yeah, I think the Mustangs are loaded with talent again. Toby Bullock has got this program really rolling well, and honestly, I got to say here, at the end of the day, it's hard for me not to go around, to go against Mandarin and I'm taking Mandarin here. The forecast is calling Mandarin 8 over Atlantic Coast. Win probability sitting there at a 78% for Mandarin, Atlantic Coast 22% as we roll along here. And we have got more games here. Creekside at Nice, and it's the battle of the Knights versus the Panthers. And Creekside battled against Mandarin pretty well. Nice took care of business against Ponte Vedra last week to open up the season, and the forecast is calling Nice a 29-point favorite over Creekside. But I got to say, there's a chance that this game might be a little closer because I feel like Creekside might just be ticked off here, and they need to take it out on somebody. And Nice might be that unlucky recipient in this situation here, Chris.
Yeah, Nice should win this team outright, but it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think it could come down to like the last one, maybe last drive, maybe the drive before that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it did. And you got to look at their history. Creekside, they've had a history of playing these games real close.
No, absolutely. And as we see it coming through here, Mark Cannon is going Nice. Emery Smith went Mandarin on the other, let that over Atlantic Coast on that one. Honestly, I got to go Nice here as well, and I feel like that's where it's going to sit at Nice, 99% win probability in this game. All right, another game in St. Johns County as we stick to the rivalries in St. Johns County. Bartram Trail at Ponte Vedra. Ponte Vedra's kind of smarting around from that loss last week to Nice, and again, and Bartram Trail here. Bartram Trail both took a loss as well. So somebody's going to get their first win of the season. Who is it going to be? Well, the computer thinks Ponte Vedra is going to pick up that win. 11-point favorite over Bartram Trail here, and win probability giving Ponte Vedra an 85% chance here, Chris. Oof.
Yeah, both of these teams are coming into a week two with like. Who's more hungry? And I think Ponte Vedra, being the team at home, should prevail. But Bartram Trail, they'll make a game out of it.
Yeah, I think being home at the Shark Tank is the big difference here. I think I'm going Ponte Vedra here as well. I think it's going to be close. Bartram Trail's going to be close. It's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Bartram Trail does try to pull off a win here because obviously there's a 15% chance of win probability, and that's 15% greater than what some games are given. So but again. I just it comes down to a battle of inches. I'm going Ponte Vedra here for the win. All right, our fourth game here is Riverside at Fleming Island. Riverside kind of smarting around with that loss to Oakleaf last week after giving up several interceptions and a big punt return that sealed the deal for Oakleaf in that game. And Riverside is 0-1. Fleming Island. Winners last week against Clay in the Battle of the Bridge there in Clay County, and game at the Nest here, Fleming Island. And what does the forecast say? Fleming Island, 16 over Riverside. Fleming Island, a 92% chance to win this game here, Chris.
I kind of disagree with the computer on the margin. Riverside's a much better team than that. It's not giving them enough credit, but. Considering all the circumstances, I think Fleming Island still comes away with this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this will be a much closer game. It's going to be a battle. Riverside's going to be a little. They're going to come in. They're going to come in pissed off. They should have had that game in the backyard last week against Oakleaf. They had everything in there, but you know what? I'm taking Fleming Island. Emery Smith is taking Fleming Island over Riverside here, but again, I feel like this is going to be a much closer game in the long shot. So, all right, our fifth game here is Trinity Christian at Bowles. The annual battle between the two of the top private schools in Northeast Florida, and but the forecast does not look pretty if you're on one side or the other, and. You hate my computer if you're a Trinity Christian fan right now. Bowles 27 over TCA, and this one at Skinner Barco. Yeah, this one's going to be. What are you thinking, Chris?
I think the computer is off its rocker right now. Yeah. But I do think Bowles will win it pretty comfortably. But it's going to be a close game for about three quarters.
I think this will be a competitive game to a certain extent, but Trinity Christian's still a bit young, but Bowles, a lot of people are high on Bowles this year. A lot of people think Bowles can make a run for that 2A title this year. I'm gonna take Bowles. By the way, Reno is not going with Bowles. He is going with Trinity Christian. He will never pick Bowles for some reason, so we'll just leave it alone at that. So there you go. All right, we got to hurry up here. We got to get another show at 8:30 here coming up with the North Central Florida Blitz, and our final game is University Christian at Bishop Kenny. I don't agree with the computer necessarily on the margin here, but University Christian did have a big game last week. Bishop Kenny was off to start the season, and so this will be Bishop Kenny's first game of the season, and the computer thinks University Christian 19 over Bishop Kenny. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. You see 95% chance to win this game. Chris, you agree?
I'm with you. I'm with you there. University Christian should win it, but it's going to be a game probably I give it maybe a 3 or 4 point game.
I think this will be close. It'll be a close game. I think it's going to be more like a 7-point game. Bishop Kenny is not a team that will break. It's a bend not break situation. And Mark Cannon. I can't with Mark Cannon right now. I can't with Mark Cannon right now. I just can't. By the way, so we're all University Christian in our picks here. So as we wrap it up here, Chris, Mark Cannon says Bowles doesn't serve ranch dressing in their skull. Chris may have another prop here as we get ready to sign up here with the show here. So, but gosh, this was fun. A fun show. We built for Quaker Steak and Loop. They got the props here. Yeah. All right, everybody. We appreciate it. Thanks to Coach Kevin Doelling from Tocoi Creek for joining us here on the Northeast Florida edition of the Blitz. We got the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz coming up here at 8:30. We'll have Forest head coach out of Ocala, John Brantley III, who's coaching his alma mater. We'll have him on. They got win number 1 last week. All right, we'll be back here in a few minutes here, right here on FloridaHSFootball.com and FloridaHSFootball.com social media networks. We'll see you here in a few minutes.